this on silent too.
Nice and precise.
Very precise. We're tight. We're running a tight ship.
Yeah, we are, man. We are. It's a
Yes.
catch up. You know what I'm saying?
What we lack in talent, we make up for in precision.
That's true. That is true. And that's actually true of like they say those who can't do coach.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's like my rap career. Like I can tell you what to do. Well, I don't know if I could actually do it, but like this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you do it. People come to me for advice and then they be like, "Why didn't you do it?" Just didn't do it. How about that? We talked a little bit about the Danger Mouse of Black Thought last week, right? But some of the stuff in jest, like the mix and stuff like that.
But that was something real that someone really said, though, right?
Absolutely, multiple people.
Interesting.
What I want to ask you is, I did I don't like top five. Here, okay, let me explain myself in the top five real quick before I ask you this question, because I'm not going to ask you for your top five. I'm going a different direction. But my thing about top fives is not so much that I don't like them. It's that I don't like you guys nor your opinions. So it has nothing to do with me not liking top fives all around. It's that I don't like you guys. That's the key. But also, in addition to not liking, actually, I don't think this is where I'm going with it. I don't think that, and we've had this conversation. My top fives don't have to be considered the best rappers of all time. Like overall, they're just my top fives. And I think that's my problem with the top five argument. That when you have a top five conversation with someone, what gets lost is like, yeah, that's your top five. For a lot of people, Redman is in their top 5, top 10. He's not in mine, even though he's one of the best rappers I've ever heard. He wouldn't make my top 10.
Right.
On some days, Mos Def might replace Blue in my top 10. On other days, Blue might replace Mos Def in my top 10, right? So okay. I don't argue that my top 10 is the greatest of all time. But with all that being said, we have to kind of have this brief conversation between you and I about Black Thought. All right?
Yep.
And Odyssey hates being called underrated or unknown, right? But I think that it's fair to say, relative to how good Black Thought has been, not only as an MC pound for pound, but successfully with the Roots and on his own.
Sure.
Would you say, given the setup that I just gave, would you agree that Black Thought is genuinely underrated?
Yeah, I just, he falls in this, I think people are happy leaving him in that state, like people out of our generation would rather, because to give him the recognition that I think we probably all agree that he deserves is, like, people like to keep you in your place, which is kind of a fraught statement to make, and it applies in a number of different circumstances and contexts. But, the Roots are doing really well without making any records right now. It's career-wise, right? I mean,
yeah,
all of them, just the fact that they have this gig that's just like fantastic. And then, they can go out and I assume they can go out and gig whenever they want to, but they don't have to.
It would be even bigger now.
Quest publishes a book every 5 minutes, like an 800-page book every 5 minutes about all the music in his Serato or whatever it is. It's like they're all set, man. It's cool. And then so all the people who feel like they I don't know what it is about, and it's not just hip hop heads. I think it's just human nature, and we live in an era where somehow we want to have ownership over somebody who's so true to the culture, as opposed to saying like, you have to check this out too. Just like we said about the last 6 Roots records, like this is equally as good and worthy of your time and your listen, but I don't know why we don't do that.
Well, I've argued quite a bit, and I've argued this on behalf of Jay-Z, that people chose Nas. Initially, that's who they chose. And they were not going, no matter how good Jay-Z was in his prime or at his peak, they were not going to let go of the fact that, no, we chose Nas. So you wouldn't acknowledge that Jay-Z had a good record. You wouldn't acknowledge that he spit a dope verse. You wouldn't acknowledge any of that because you chose Nas. In the very beginning of the fight, you chose Nas. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's a very corny hip-hop thing to do. But I don't think – I want to say that's one thing I don't see a lot of younger hip-hop kids doing. You know, they'll actually be like, no, that record was good and that record was bad, right? Whereas as – us old heads, I think that's a big old head thing, right? Yeah, we would not just acknowledge that Ice Cube was not as good later on. A lot of Ice Cube fans will just not acknowledge it. Like, he was not as good later on as he was early on, bottom line. But with Black Thought, I feel like it happened in reverse. I feel like listening to Do You Want More and what was the first one? The Underground joint. Man, don't sue me, people from Philly. Don't fight me. But you know what I'm saying? I'm getting old.
What do you mean, daily operation?
Right? Don't do this. Yeah, come on. Leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. But listen to Do You Want More?
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
It was a collaborative effort. Like, I feel like Thought, and maybe there's something out there talking about this, like, wasn't letting loose. So at the time, like, you know, Redman and Dell and all the people that were around at the time that Do You Want More dropped, I feel like Black Thought was fitting within the band, right?
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say that there's a, and I don't know anything about them personally, really, you know, but there's a band mentality, right? Like, the greatest musicians you can think of who were in bands always had somebody in the band saying, why don't you chill out a little bit next time we go out there? Because this is not your band. This is our band. Or this is my band, right? Yeah. It's like, you need to fall back just to, you know, you want to solo every 5 minutes, you know, go get your own band. So I don't know if any of that played into it, or it was just, you know, and from what I could tell, they certainly did not. It wasn't like the Partridge Family. They're the Roots, you know, after a while. So,
well, yeah. You know. Hey, I feel like the Roots as a band accomplished what Native Tongues wanted to accomplish all along. I mean, in a weird way, right? Like, to be just kind of generally, I mean, of course, the Native Tongues are well respected, but the way that the Roots are able to function collectively,
Yep.
I know one is a crew and one is not, but the way they're able to function collectively is exactly what the Native Tongues probably should be doing at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Because they changed everything. I mean, if we're being honest, just from the Jungle Brothers up to Chi Ali, who I still cannot believe I forgot his name on the show, but up to Chi Ali, and yeah, it's crazy. I just still am like, oh my God, how did I forget Chi Ali? But they changed everything. It was one of those. It's one of those pivotal points in hip hop where when Outkast's first record dropped, I'll give this you know, multiple pointless comparisons, right? Dead Horse, but Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music was like, yeah, it's a good record. ATLians changed everything. You know, that's the way I see it. If Southern Playlist, if the second record sounded like Southern Playlistic, you know, they'd be good. We'd be like, yo, they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that they just kind of altered the sound entirely and came with something that was connected to what they were initially doing, but something that we would never expect from a Southern rap group at the time. At the time, everybody back off. At the time, and B, just connected to their last project. Like, oh wow, what is this? You know what I mean? And I feel like on ATLians, they both let loose. I feel like on Southern Playalistic, it was dope. It was formulaic. It was wrong. It was on point. I still think Players Ball is the opening verse is still one of the freshest verses. Freshest intros. It's beginning to look a lot like, whoa, follow my every step. Like, that was dope. But ATLians was all of that. Every song was that. And comparing that to what I'm saying about the Roots, when Illadelph Half-Life dropped, it was like, no. bro, I'm rapping.
Right.
This isn't a Say One Man where I'm vibing with the band and making it part of it. This is me trying to slaughter everybody that moves. And from that moment on, I feel like thought has not been truly respected from that moment on. Right? From clones.
Yeah, and the thing it's I'm sure just me, but like especially on Illadelph Half-Life, they were doing not miraculously experimental things with the music, but for a genre that's largely 4/4, like very straight ahead musically, they were doing all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I mean, relatively weird stuff. Like, wasn't Clones the one that the beat that sped up, or was that Sections?
Sections.
Yeah, then
no,
like
not Sections. It wasn't Sections. That
like
was
weird time signatures and stuff like that, right? And so there were times when I was like, I don't think I want to listen to this right now. Like, I will listen to the album, from start to end, but like that's why a lot of the stuff that he's been doing lately, like with the different producers and stuff, get in, get out, 7, 10 songs or whatever. Like, I enjoy it just about as much as any Roots album. It just doesn't have that cultural like memory like moment to me, But
well, yeah.
I mean, he's getting loose.
Do we have those anymore?
These last few, he's getting loose lyrically though. On these, I'm just
he's not playing.
Not at all.
He's not playing. I wonder for young people if it's that moment for them, because I don't think I could have that moment in that. Like the moment I had when I listened to Illadelph Half-Life or Lazy Afternoon, like, man, he's kicking the same verse.
And also, it was it was part of the whole landscape of them being, not that there aren't many talented musicians just in Philly, let alone across the country, that can play. But, they were doing something that was unique relative to a lot of other groups out there. But there were also a lot of other hip-hop artists at that time who were doing the kind of stuff that we love. So they had the Smoke and Grooves tour. They played backup for Jay on the Unplugged, like they were in that mix, and then you would go to the House of Blues and the Roots would play for 4 hours. It was just
yeah.
I remember going one night, I think it was like a Lenny Kravitz show or something like that. Yeah, I think it was like, there was a headline show, it was just House of Blues on Sunset when it was still there. So I watched the show, and then it wasn't a lot of people. No one got kicked out. And I don't know if they were just practicing for something else. All of a sudden, the Roots came out, and I swear they were up there for 3-4 hours after. We just, I was like, this is great.
Just kept going.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Cool. It's cool, But yeah, they, so they signify something that was certainly unique for the culture at that moment and throughout the history of hip hop. And then, as far as him being underrated, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of MCs that, like, Monch certainly doesn't get to do his due.
He's in my top 10.
We talked about, I've talked about Master Ace quite a bit as being one of my, favorites. I don't like doing the top 10 because you miss somebody, and that's what I don't like, because I miss somebody who I know should be in my top 10. You know what I mean? Like, and there's no reason why it should be limited. Yeah.
Mine is always Most. I always like go back and I look at my list and damn, I left most stuff off of this list. But
and that's what I was saying.
But
on Facebook, I was like, Most dropped a new verse this week too. Everyone's talking about Jay's verses. Like most came in on that JID record, and like I was like, all right,
just was like, God, dude,
you know what I'm saying? So a lot of it's like, just if you're listening to something, just be happy that you're listening to new music and shut up. Like, but also, what I had to say for you, and I didn't even take a shot at you today, is that you always talk about these top 10 lists, and you went and you ranked the seasons of the year, and you said that summer is barely in your top 3.
Barely in my top 3 now, yeah.
Nobody asked you.
Nobody
asked you.
No, we'll get to it on the other side because you just want to talk about it. Yo, let's get into the other side. Yo, Kev, you ready, man?
Yep.
Fuck summer. Let's go.
Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, y'all? You are live on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. 101.
Listen, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you'd like to catch past episodes of Rap Sucks Radio, please go to rapsucksradio.com or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. And if you'd like to catch us on your television, go to BTSN on any of or on your favorite Roku or Amazon devices. Click on the app or channel once you download BTSN or BTSN Pass, and we are right there. Plenty of other dope content, BTSN Behind the Scenes Network, we want in. And also, check us out on Instagram at Rap Sucks Radio. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/RSR podcast.
Don't make a mistake.
I'm announcing it every single time. I'm announcing it now. I keep forgetting. And now it is burnt into my brain. Facebook.com/RSR podcast. Long before there was another one.
Stay real.
I kind of wish we could stay real. Wish I trademarked it. I'd steal it right now. Use the government against you. Okay, so shout out to my man Fizz. Fizz is one of the illest by far, and he posted something that's very factual, which is basically that people still love summer as adults because it was the time you got out of school when you was a kid. But let's face it, don't nobody want to be in no 106-degree weather at Rand. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all don't like summer like that. Now, granted, I'm from Southern California, born and raised, no plans of leaving whatsoever. If I was from, the East Coast where winter is a legit season, right? But then I think about the summers y'all have on the East Coast and be like, but why would y'all want that? That sounds crazy. My favorite season is spring. Spring is my favorite season.
Oh,
it's warm enough. Everything is nice outside. It's, spring is it for me. Then fall.
I think we've tried to express on this this little program that there's virtue to old head energy. It's a little, if you want to gripe a little bit, you've earned a little bit of latitude to do that. The royal you, all of you out there who are past the age of 30. I realized one in because I was living on the East Coast for enough years to get used to that, the swings in weather, right? And it only takes about a month or two of winter before the novelty of that wears off very quickly, right? And then I always felt like spring and fall were like 2 weeks long. It's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
Right?
Grand total of maybe 3.5, 4 weeks at the outside per year of that beautiful weather, and then you're in deathly cold or hellishly humid hot. And then I moved back out here, and I realized that, and I brought up the old head energy because also we try to balance that with a little bit of grown person maturity, right? I just realized that I'm a soft, delicate flower, and I can't really handle myself in any particular situation without feeling the need to complain, at least internally.
But that's the thing. Spring is like no complaints. If you're like, it's like 78, 75 out there. It's a nice breeze, but it's not too much of a breeze, right?
Well, I know that this week, it's about to be very hot over the rest of this week out here. And I know I'm going to be very upset about that, be wishing it was winter. And then the winter's going to come here and it's going to be like 65 degrees. And I'm going to be wishing that I could wear shorts all the time.
That's true. It's true. It's true. Oh, my God, my house is
because
so
I'm
cold.
soft.
Yeah. Yeah, because people on the East Coast are like 65. Shut up, and I'm like, no, you shut up.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not made for them temperatures. You shut up. As a note, man, one of the nicest places I've ever been on the planet is DC in the spring. DC in the spring shows off. I don't know about every other place in the spring, but DC in the spring. I'm not going to give Philly too many props on any weather time till y'all take that Rocky statue down. But DC in the spring is no joke.
They should put a statue of Black
speaking
Thought
of-
up there.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what they should do. If y'all take down that statue, I should put Black Thought up there. So, speaking of a joke of a human being, at least.
But what's up with the top 3 seasons, though? You decided to make it a list? Like, it was just okay for that?
No, that was off of Fizz's post.
Don't blame Fizz. We're not doing that.
It's not a blame.
We're not doing that here.
It's a credit to.
He deserves plenty of blame for plenty of things.
A ton of things.
I don't think this is one of them, though.
It's not blame. It's credit. Fizz posted a fact, and I jumped in. Just jumped in and doubled down on that fact. Yo, I love this episode title, man. Straight up. Take your roly-poly fat promoter to the chemical bank and get my cash. That line became more, with some steak on it. That line became more and more true as I got older. I didn't believe like that album is the soundtrack to my life for a while. Low End Theory was. All right, so topic number 1. MTG, the notorious MTG, got 180 G's in PPP loans on barely a GED, and she wanna talk to me. You know what I'm saying? The gall is my secondary type. It's the nerve of this clown. All right, so the reason why this is happening is because all the idiots came. So White House calls out Republicans who criticized student loan cancellation but had thousands, Kev, in PPP loans forgiven. The source for this is CBSNews.com. Players are loan sharks and hypocrites. Fair enough. All right, so the White House is not taking criticism on the decision to forgive student debt lying down. After some Republican lawmakers tweeted or went on broadcast to condemn the decision, the White House Twitter page, God, they got all thumby on it, right? Responded by, quote, tweeting their comments and sharing just how much each of them benefited from having their Paycheck Protection Program loans forgiven. Woo. White House came with receipts, Kev.
Oh. Talk about it.
Okay, so the uncharacteristic Twitter thread from the White House came shortly after President Biden announced his plan to erase thousands of dollars in student loans, a move that will help more than 40 million people who have a combined 1.7 trillion in student loan debt, Kev. Under the plan, borrowers who earn less than $125,000 annually, I'm assuming, will be eligible to have $10,000 in student loan debt forgiven. Those in that income range who had Pell Grants in college will be eligible for an additional $10,000 in forgiveness. GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, notorious MTG, went on Newsmax. What is Newsmax, by the way? Okay.
It's neither news nor.
Yeah, it's like the homies. She went on the homies news station, right? To talk about Mr. Biden's plans and said that forgiving student loans isn't fair to those who didn't go to college. All right. Here's a quote. For our government to just say, okay, well, your debt is completely forgiven. It's completely unfair, she said, according to a clip of the broadcast that was shared by the White House. And taxpayers all over the country, taxpayers that never took out a student loan, taxpayers that paid their bills and maybe even never went to college are just hard-working people. They shouldn't have to pay off the great big student loan debt for some college student that piled up massive debt going to some Ivy League school. That's not fair, she said. And the White House then quoted on Twitter, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene had $183,504 in PPP loans forgiven. That was the White House.
But it gets better.
Just with the receipts. All right. The White House then called out her and others who benefited from their own loan forgiveness through the Paycheck Protection Program. One study on the Federal Reserve by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis found that the program cost taxpayers $4 for every dollar of wages and benefits that workers who had their jobs saved, quote unquote, by the program received. $4. I want to run that back. For every $1 of wages and benefits that workers who had their jobs saved, quote unquote, by the program received. So 4-1. According to the White House, Green and others benefited heavily from this loan forgiveness. The White House retweeted the Congresswoman's clip and said she had $183,504 in PP loans forgiven. GOP Rep Vern Buchanan of Florida tweeted out a segment of him speaking on Fox Business about the loan, saying that the tweet was saying in the tweet, come on, Reg, that he was a blue-collar kid who worked his way through college. And in quote, he said, I know firsthand the sacrifices people make to receive an education. Biden's reckless unilateral student loan giveaway is unfair to the 87% of Americans without student loan debt and to those who played by the rules. According to the White House, Buchanan had more than $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven. I don't want to read through all of this, Kevin.
You don't have to.
It goes on to GOP Rep Mark Wayne Mullen. It goes on to Republican lawmakers Kevin Hern, Mike Kelly, and Matt Gaetz.
Oh, everyone's favorite, Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz.
He bought a lot of teenagers with that PPP money.
Man, don't do it. Don't do it. That guy. So, yeah, go ahead, Kevin. It's on you. Wait. Biden directly addressed congressional Republicans on Thursday who are against student loan forgiveness. I will never apologize for helping America's middle class, especially not to the same folks who voted for a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthy and giant corporations that racked up the deficit. Go ahead.
You know, I've been talking a lot of trash about Democrats over the last few episodes. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all the episodes.
Yeah, we always still take a shot at them.
Tell you what, though, I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. I like this.
I like it a lot, man. And but I'd say you were right. I have to give you credit. The most complaining generation. Boy, are we?
It's us.
Because it wasn't just congressional Republicans. I just saw all kinds of people just real big mad about people who who bring in 30, 60 grand a year by working hard, getting a little bit of a break here. Nobody's buying Ferraris off of this, folks. This is just a little bit of help. I mean, good Lord. And these are all the same people who were out there spending $200 on Mega Millions tickets a couple weeks ago. It's like now you getting mad at somebody for having a little bit of good timing. I mean, good Lord. And then in some of these idiots, it's, all the it's not fair people because, it's not fair because it doesn't benefit everyone, right? I remember a black guy who was trying to give all you 7th grade dropout dumbasses free health insurance just a few years back. But you didn't want that either. You wanted to call everybody socialists when that was going to help everybody out. And now you want to complain about this. By the way, you didn't go to college. You didn't go to college. I don't think it's because you played by the rules. I think it's because you're stupid. How about that?
I'm going to double down on that. You know why? Because I didn't go to college because I'm stupid. And that's why I know this is the truth. Listen.
Wait, you didn't go to college?
I didn't. And for all of those
I don't think
people,
I can do this anymore.
Right. What is it? Did you get any debt forgiveness, man? Because I didn't go to college. I'm going to make sure I'm actually around the right people here. Me and my non-college friends can't allow you to have a life of peace and prosperity.
I wish people would just shut up sometimes, and this would be one of those times. I will give you $20,000 to shut the hell up. How about that?
Don't say that on this show. We have a good solid 85 listeners, maybe 75 on average, and someone is going to hit IG and call you a bluff. I will cancel my account send me $20,000. So that is not disclaimer. He will not give you $20,000 to shut up. Period. Just shut up for free. No,
That should be the episode title. Shut up for free.
just for free. No, listen. I have all the respect in the world for people who went to school and worked off their debt, paid off their, however they did it, right? I mean, in the end, what we've learned is that, and you may not think this is true, but not you personally, but a lot of you may not think this is true. And I get a lot of detractors on this for some odd reason. But we've learned how important education is to overall success, individual and eventually extended family and otherwise, right? So for those that did that and were able to achieve enough success post-college to pay off their debts and loan, man, God bless you. I think that's amazing. And for me, you get nothing but a handshake. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, it's already paid off, man. You did it.
Yeah.
So who cares what happens to anybody else? Your debt is gone. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't qualify, and this was it, so I'm not going to say the name because it would cause a lot of problems if I said the name of the person. But I remember when what were the checks called? The relief checks were coming out.
The stimulus
And there were a
checks?
bunch of people that were stimulus checks. There you go. And there were a bunch of people who were mad they didn't qualify. And I was like, if you don't qualify for this, you are doing just fine.
Right.
That's the thing you should know. That if you don't qualify, look at the bracket you're in. You're good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you overextended yourself on other things, you bought a Ferrari and a backup Ferrari and a fighter jet or whatever you tried to do, that's not on your student loans. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, and I know personally that you're good. Trust me, I know that if you don't qualify for this, you're good. So, shut up.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with you. How many soup kitchens do you walk into and be like, what y'all got free food in here for? Well, I didn't get no free food. Like, when do you stop? Like, when do you stop walking around looking at what everybody else is getting? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As if you never benefited all from anything.
Yeah, they just want something to complain about, you know? It's like, and I know plenty of people just at the school I went to who honestly could make a case that they deserve a refund because they are as stupid as the day is long and they graduated with honors. Okay? So this is not about education or formal education leading to guaranteed intellectual outcomes, because that is not a guarantee.
That's not true. Yes.
By any stretch.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, and then all these politicians want to talk about farmers working hard. It's like, if a farmer wants to jump up and say that they, have a problem with it, I don't mind. Say whatever you want. Have whatever opinion you want to have. But I don't know that you're going to find too many farmers that don't want their children to at least go to school. And by the way, farmers have to be intelligent, especially now, to know how to grow their crops. They're chemists.
No,
they are.
The farmers,
and they're waking up at the crack of dawn, being chemists and agriculturalists, horticulturalists, and botanists, and just to keep up with all the things that prevent them from being able to barely squeak by running a farm. So if you're talking about farmers, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, every farmer is the one that's in your 5th grade history book.
Old MacDonald.
That's that seems to be the last image of a farmer that everyone our age has. Like, right? Like the farmer on the package of Farmer John is like the last image of a farmer we don't really, no one, all you gotta do is turn on National Geographic and just watch one of those agriculture shows. Right. And it's like, earnings in Florida State University. And then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Grow Cornings and Alabama State, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, they all graduated from college. Like,
well, that's the thing. I mean, and regardless, and we may be, I think things may be changing slightly because of how out of this world, like, and astronomically high the cost of a so-called higher education has become, just realistically.
Mm-hmm.
You want to complain about inflation, but you don't want to talk about that. All right.
Right.
But still, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, what region of the country you come from. Most parents want to give their children the chance to go to college if that's, you know what I mean, a realistic opportunity, whether that be through an academic situation or athletics or whatever the opportunity is. Most parents are pushing their child to at least figure out what the options are, right? And sometimes the financial burden may be too high. And for those people to not be able to experience that and to really live up to whatever their potential is a shame. The one thing I will say is that we definitely could do a better job teaching a little bit of financial literacy to children from an early age so that they understand what these loans actually mean, because it would help them to understand not just a student loan, but a car loan, certainly a mortgage, to understand that that interest will whoop your ass, and people.
That's the key.
Don't get, and then you show up on campus, and what's the first thing they dangle in front of you? Credit card. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
got a row of tables and signing you up for credit cards. Yep.
Giving you plastic. Maybe a lot of times, even as it doesn't matter what school you go to, you can be going to a top tier Ivy League school, and some of these kids will be getting a credit card for the first time in their life. Not all of them.
For the first time. Yep.
Yep. But some of them, and then they might just get in trouble with that. Because we don't teach our children. We don't want to, because that's how we make money, right? That's sad.
Yeah.
You want to talk about not fair? That's not fair.
That's not fair. But this is funny because, and I might go on a bit of a tangent here, but it's funny because I think about my daughters all the time, and the life that you attempt to give your children is what you didn't have. Now I watched David something, he's a comedian, funny dude, and he was saying like, dang, I lived died though. So if they end up with exactly the life I had, then they're just fine. I don't need to do nothing special, right? Not entirely true of me, considering that, again, I didn't go to college. My sister did. My brother did. Both college graduates. My sister, PhD. Both of them very successful. So note number one.
Big fans of summer. Both of them.
Possibly. Not in Texas. One of them is not. That's for sure. One of them is definitely not a big fan of summer. Maybe not also a big fan of winter, at least with their government. But those that are graduating from Ivy League schools statistically likely will not qualify for this. Right. So MTG is already wrong. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's the people that qualify for this might not dogging any of these schools, any colleges, but maybe state college graduates or, graduates that are probably more middle class, right? Mm-hmm. Secondly, awesome, right? Awesome. That's a great thing, right? An Ivy League education is to set the bar for you as a graduate to achieve things greater than colleges that are, secondary to it, right? So if you receive the Ivy League education, you're supposed to be it. You're not supposed to. I'm saying by societal norms, you're not supposed to qualify for this, right?
Right.
That's the alleged ideal. Okay, so let me throw this around real quick. If you graduated from college and you qualify for this, the idea here is that you're right on that line of being able to achieve the educational the dream that your education was meant to provide, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's awesome, because the ideal, just going by the people I know personally, ideally those people would be right on that edge, and this would be the thing that's kind of not allowing them to to push forward for some of the dreams they want to offer their children or some of the plans they want to make in the future, right? This loan is just hanging around and chilling and finding its way into your special moments in your life and right or whatever. So you look at these things you want to give your kids. You know what I'm saying? And you were talking about the cost of education going up, et cetera. You want them to go to school, right? But at one point, graduating from college was the end of the line. You get your kids to college, you get them out of college, you did your job, right? But now you're like, man, I want to get my kids out of college. I want to get them on the right path and get them into their first home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. Like now the line is going further and further because you know the cost of living is skyrocketing. The wages are not matching the cost of living by any stretch of the imagination unless the bottom of the bag falls completely out. So what you want to give your kids as far as a greater life has now continues to extend. First, it was get them out of First, it was just don't let them get tuberculosis and die.
Right,
That's way back when, right?
But
then
not
it's
that
like,
long
all right,
ago.
well, let's get them out of right. Exactly.
Which leads probably
Right.
to what you're about to say next, which is our parents probably never, our parents had probably a good amount of work ethic, but also some good fortune, right? Some of the people in our parents' generation, good fortune to not get killed in the process of living as a human being in America.
Yeah.
But then I guarantee if we ask all of our friends around our age to go to their parent or parents or grandparents and say, whoever raised them and say, could you have ever imagined that house you bought for $30,000 back in the 70s was going to be worth over $1 million now? Or whatever the case may be, right? It's like, no, not at all. And so now we're seeing that, well, that path, like you said, there's more to it than, because one, the college education no longer is a guarantee of, that great city government job or whatever the case, civil service job. There's a lot more at play, and a lot more of a wild card factor to it, variables associated with that. And then things that are not variable that we know that generational wealth will come not just from having that education, but having some good fortune and being able to put that education to use, but also knowing that there's going to come a point where you're going to want to either own some real estate or be able to utilize some sort of financial resources to do things to create wealth, not just for yourself, but your children and your grandchildren and so forth. So
yeah, and I think also we devalue the meaning of education, like being educated, right? Like people don't go to school for what they want to study or learn or have an interest in, right? Because if you're going to school as an art major, people are like, you ain't finna get no job. So then you, switch that up, right? To being something else. So, but the whole point of being an educated society is to find an interest and bury yourself in it, right? So what college, as far as my understanding, right, of it is lost anyway. It's completely lost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You go to college to get a job. You go to college to make more money, right? To survive. Right. College is now survival, where it used to be an institution of higher learning. It's an institution of getting your ass more money. So I don't think that this can do anything but benefit that. Right. We're here now. We're not, I know colleges likely across the world are educating people and enlightening them in different ways that are awesome. I think that's likely happening, but more and more it's about getting a good education so that you can get a good job as opposed to becoming a well-rounded, well-balanced, well-educated person. That's lost. That's gone now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just, I think we just see it a lot more clearly now too, having been, and it doesn't matter if you went to college or not. It's just seeing how the mechanism of it works. Like you can be a good person, go to church and have a great experience and make that a central part of your life and be a very spiritual person and a genuinely generous person who contributes to society. You can also be an evil, awful person and go to the same church and do evil, awful stuff to the people around you for the rest of your life. It doesn't really have anything to do with the church. It's really about you. So knowing, who you are, and having people around you who can guide you to say, okay, well, this is, I see what you want to do. You can do that at this 2-year college and then go on to do this, that, or the other. I think we're starting to become a lot more open to those options, which we should be. But the thing that it all goes back to is that we don't talk about those things because we want to complain about things not being fair when somebody gets $20,000 back. That they probably already paid $25,000 in interest on over the last 10 years of their life or whatever the case may be. And it's the same people complaining about it that were just fine giving multimillionaires tax breaks 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Had no problem with that. Because those were the people that were allowing their Harvard and Yale educated asses go up and do a bunch of lying on Newsmax or whatever the station was.
Newsmax. Trash Max. Trash to the max. Yeah. I think it's a good thing, man. I mean, I don't know. That simplifies it quite a bit. I understand it but it's to me, it's a good thing. It's what you now go to college for, is to have, income, to live a better life. And why not help them out?
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
If you already paid yours off, you already on the path, man. Congratulations. Everybody else is now with you, and just keep on moving.
Yeah. How much money did that complaining make you over the last week?
None. I mean, dumb thugging. Topic number 2, man. Fake records. All right. As if rappers weren't fake enough. To be honest with you.
That's right.
All right, so reason for this is Capitol Records drops AI rapper FN Mecca following backlash. All right, so this is sourced by the New York Times. Players involved with Capitol Records. FN Mecca, who's an AI rapper. Not Allen Iverson for my old heads. So picture Max Headroom, but in the future, and racist. So the black community is also involved in this, as we are in these situations pretty often, oddly enough. Okay, so Capitol Music Group, the company that houses major record labels, including Capitol and Blue Note, said on Tuesday that it was severing ties with its latest controversial artist, FN Mecca, a virtual robot rapper, quote unquote, powered partly by artificial intelligence, who boasts more than 10 million followers on TikTok. So Capitol can leave him alone. He's going to make his own money. The company had previously teased the project, the first augmented reality artist to sign to a major label. It said, as, quote, just a preview of what's to come. Yet after growing backlash to what skeptical observers said amounted to digital blackface, including content that seemed to trivialize incarceration and police brutality, Capitol said it had severed ties with the FN Mecca project effective immediately. The company added in a statement, "We offer our deepest apologies to the black community for our insensitivity in signing this project without asking enough questions about equity and the creative process behind it. We thank those who have reached out to us with constructive feedback," probably a lot of cursing, "in the past couple days. Your input was invaluable as we came to a decision to end our association with this project." Last point. Early on Tuesday, the activist nonprofit known as Industry Blackout, which formed in 2020 to pursue equity in the music business, has called for a public apology as well as donation of any funds spent by Capitol on the project to charity and the budgets of black artists on the label. "We find fault," this is a quote from Industry Blackout, "we find fault in the lack of awareness and how offensive this caricature is." They wrote in an open letter posted to social media, "It is a direct insult to the black community and our culture. The amalgamation of gross stereotypes, appropriative mannerisms that derived from black artistry, complete with slurs infused in lyrics. So, yeah, F and Mecca was backed by a company, by the company Factory New, which describes itself as the first of its kind next generation music company specializing in virtual beings. Also on the roster, the crypto rapper Lil Bitcoin.
Hey,
All right.
Bitcoin.
Though voiced by a human, F and Mecca and his lyrical content, chords, melody, temporary sounds were derived from artificial intelligence, the industry publication Music Business Worldwide reported last year. All right. There you go.
Have you heard it?
No.
What if it's dope?
Nope.
I want to hear a little Bitcoin. What? I mean,
I don't.
Why are they doing this? Why?
Well, in a Tuesday interview, one of the dudes said, I just have to read this. Anticipating a deal's cancellation coming this week, he's citing blogs that have latched onto a clickbait headline and created this narrative. This is what he said. He said that F and Mecca was in fact a primary and anonymous human rapper. Quote, he's a black guy. End quote. New quote. And not this malicious plan of white executives. It's literally no different from managing a human artist, except that it's digital. He added that the team behind F and Mecca was, quote, actually one of the most diverse teams you can get. I'm the only white person involved. Okay, go ahead, Kev. All right.
Well, at first I thought I saw some people posting stuff that the person voicing the character was actually a white dude. So it was very inflammatory that he was like using the N-word and being, whatever. Which evidently is not the case.
No.
So, which led me to the next question. If it's AI, why did you need a person you just have a rapper? And by the way, you ruined the dude's bag at this point. The dude who was on it, which he seems to be taking it. He said that the company ghosted him after he recorded whatever he recorded for them. Like, I don't know what that entailed exactly. If it was just actually just going in the booth and recording verses that they matched up with the animation or whatever. But he was like, I was just going to chill out until the thing blew up and then go after him. I was like, well, you're not doing that now.
Nah, that's dead. That's dead, bro.
But can we also just go and get labels to drop whack artists? Is that
starting
an option?
Man, I wish. We've redefined what whack is anyway. The argument's muddy, just like everything else. But grief. Okay, this is gonna sound wrong, but it's right. Okay. It doesn't matter that the team is diverse. The individual is black. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like saying that the team is the most diverse team, it actually does not, right? Okay, let me put it this way. If the rapper was Mexican, if F and Mecca was a Mexican rapper, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a white dude that came out as a spokesperson. I don't know where Martini stands as far as the project. I know it's in the article, but I skipped through quite a bit. He's the only white guy involved, right? Then there's one Mexican dude behind the scenes and 17 black people. Mm-hmm. And like 2 Asian dudes. Then it's racist. Like, it's still trash. It's not like because there's people of color involved, it can't be bad. Like, dude, you don't think that we could create stereotypes for other people, like people of color? What I'm saying is, I don't need other people of color doing black stereotypes either, if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah.
Or any other stereotype. Like, I don't need somebody being like, it's already hard enough. Look, guys, I don't know how to say it. It's already hard enough because I can't all the way tell when someone legitimately is into the style and slang and movements and posturing of rap music, which is really like this natural style and movement and slang and posturing of my uncles and you see what I'm saying? So it already seems like a mockery sometimes.
Well, that's
like just
that's
sometimes.
the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, why did you take a cartoon character? Because again, if there was a person, it's the art form is a spoken rap. You know, it's a vocal art form, which is the key element at the end of the day, right? A vocal audio art form for which you had an actual human being using his actual human voice.
Right.
So if this is AI, this is not the first AI rapper. There have been plenty of AI rappers.
Yeah.
That could arguably have been accused of some racist content or racially unfavorable content, right? I don't know who signed to what label, but I'm sure Capitol's done it just as much as every other label out there. So now we're going to plant our flag because there's a cartoon character that's doing it. It's like, well, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where people draw their lines. A lot of times people draw their lines where they can get the most traction, which, okay.
Yeah.
I could draw a lot of lines. I mean, there are a lot. I don't listen to sports talk radio because I'm just sick of it. Like, I'm sick of this overt racism in the conversation about athletes, right? And I don't watch a lot of or get involved in a lot of hip hop anything because, man, a lot of times, like, y'all not funny like you think you are. And that's what this FM Mecca thing is, right? Like, I'm the only white guy involved. It's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
Of a white guy involved, right? 1/18 is enough. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this particularly on him. Like, 1/18 of an Asian dude is too much. 1/18 of a Puerto Rican dude is too much, right? Like spin it around to whomever you like and switch the people up. It's too much. Like, we don't need you creating virtual images of black people to posture in appropriative ways.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't understand that, well, we're a diverse company. Like, what does diversity have to do? We're not talking about diversity. If it was just a fleet of rappers, I don't know what a group of crows is called a murder. I don't know what a group of virtual rappers is called. Like, if it's a flock or a fleet or a posse.
I believe it's a posse. Yes. Or perhaps a crew.
Digital posse. Crew. GIFs. A crew of GIFs. I don't know.
Careful.
A GIF load. I don't know. Gross. That sounded bad. Of multicultural stereotypes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it wouldn't matter is my whole point. I think that's the point I'm latching on to, is that I am probably a little too old for it. I'm just old now, and I just don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah. I don't want to listen to actual human rappers. Why would I want to listen to a fake virtual rapper?
Like, Blueface was too much. Who created that dude? You know what I'm saying? Go power that dude off. You know what I mean? But all this means is that somebody's going to, without the corporate leash of capital, they're going to create it, put it on TikTok. It's going to get 10 million followers. They're going to keep creative control of it, and they know it's going to happen. So watch for the return of FM Mecca, because it's going to happen.
It's going to be on.
And it'll be worse.
Raucous Part 2.
Oh, all right, man, we got to get out of here. Right? And Newsmax. All right, man, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, let's cut these last two out. We don't need to talk about these other two.
Yeah. We'll get them next time.
There you go.
Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. I am your homeboy Trek Life, and that dude over there. Well, no, actually over there. That's your fam, Kev Sakota.
FM Mecca. He's better than 6ix9ine, that's for sure.
Wow. Wow. Power that dude off too. That should be the thing. Power him off.
Yeah.
Right? Shut that dude down. Like, whatever. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please catch us on rap6radio.com for any past episodes. Catch us on BTSN. Download the Apple channel on your Roku or any of your Amazon Fire devices. Click on the Apple channel. We are right there. Catch us on Instagram at Rap6Radio and on Facebook. Facebook.com/RSR podcast. The original one.
Word. Not AI.
We'll holler at y'all next time. Not AI. Yeah, not the fake one. We out of here like last year on the count of 3. We say peace. 1, 2, 3. Peace. We out.